It's time for this week's episode of Brandon Sports Talk, featuring in-depth interviews from those who are trending in the world of athletics. And now, here's the host of Brandon Sports Talk, Brandon Pate.
Welcome back to Brandon Sports Talk. In today's episode, I have the privilege to interview Eric Leach, who is the GM for the Bowling Green Hot Rocks. How are you doing today?
Doing great, Brandon. Appreciate you having me on.
Can you talk about how you knew that you wanted to work in professional sports?
So out of college, I graduated and I went to work for a Fortune 500 company and, quickly got promoted and was district sales manager at 24 years old and was wearing a suit and tie. And I was absolutely miserable. Didn't enjoy it, was making a great living, but I took a step back and said, what would I like to do that I'm going to have fun with? And obviously sports came to mind. And much to the dismay of my parents, I started applying for minor league baseball jobs. And this is back in the days before internet, and it was, snail mail. So I sent out 10 resumes and I got 3 job offers and took one of those with at the time, the Fort Wayne Wizards in Fort Wayne, Indiana. And so that was my entry into professional sports.
Of course, what was your time like getting your first, professional job?
So it was really interesting and tremendously excited. And, they talked about the long hours and in the interview process, but until you really experience it, you never know what it's truly like. So it was a completely different atmosphere than what I was used to. Again, wearing a suit and tie every single day to the office out of college, and then go into a place where you're selling sports and it's, shorts and polos and just a completely different environment. Tremendously, fell in love with it pretty much right away. And it wasn't as romantic as what I thought. I was manning the fan services booth, and in the old stadium in Fort Wayne, you can't see the field. So the field is up a flight of stairs and completely out. So I spent a whole year sitting looking at concrete walls, but it gets in your veins and you fall in love with it.
What was your time like with the Lexington Legends as the director of group sales?
So it was a completely unique experience being in Lexington because they were launching a franchise. And so I got to be part of helping a team get off the ground and building an entire new stadium. Was there a couple of years, and then I left and went to the NBA's Developmental Basketball League. And eventually the minority owner and the president of the Legends, Alan Stein, talked me into coming back to Lexington. And so I was there for a second stint and really enjoyed it. You got to build a stadium, you had that thrill, and then you come back and run the group sales department and really establish things. And when I left there, we were pretty dominant in the group sales category, and even got to have Roger Clemens do one of his rehab starts, the infamous minor league game with him and his son playing third base. So a ton of fun there in Lexington, a lot of fond memories.
What was it like going from minor league to, of course, the NBA G League?
That actually was a really difficult transition. I really loved the basketball players, some really great guys, and got to interact with them, quite frankly, more than I do like here with our baseball team. The other side of it, Brandon, was the NBA wanted to run it like an NBA franchise. And what works in New York City and, even Salt Lake City and Minneapolis and, huge cities doesn't necessarily translate to Roanoke, Virginia, or Fayetteville, and some of these smaller towns. And they were all about make 200 phone calls a day. And I'm much more of a relationship builder and really develop rapport. And so it was a difficult task. And I think the NBA quickly realized that the original 8 franchises aren't there anymore. And they've kind of changed the entire model of what was the D League and is now the G League. And we didn't have affiliates back then. It was just open. And so they've completely reworked the model. But that was the first time probably in my sports career where I had people telling me, no, you must do it this way. And it wasn't a great fit for me.
What was the transition like from going from, of course, the G League to back to the minor leagues where you became the assistant general manager for Bowling Green?
It was a good transition. It was definitely I missed baseball. I missed the creativity and coming up with the goofy promotions and theme nights and all those types of fun. So um, coming here to Bowling Green, it was honestly a breath of fresh air, and to be able to come in here and kind of help reestablish things, and went through an ownership change, and so definitely enjoy being back in baseball, and been here for a while now.
What is a typical game day like, of course, before COVID for Bowling Green?
I would say there's never a typical game day in baseball because so many different things come at you. But for the most part, my day typically, a typical day, I get here about 7:30 in the morning. Make sure my Keurig is fired up because typically the night before I got home at about 11 at night. So I like the peace and quiet in the morning. It allows me to go through all my emails and get caught up. And then the staff starts arriving. If it's a day after a game, about 10 o'clock in the morning. And then we have what we call a standing five. And it's a 5-minute review of what's going to be happening that night, make sure everything's in order. And then for me, it's making sure my staff's in the right position. Is the ops team hitting all the areas that we need to have the stadium clean? Promotions, are they on point? Field getting ready. Check in with the manager, see if there's anything that the team needs, and then it's making sales calls, checking in with clients. And about that time, 4 o'clock comes and it's get ready for game and gates open. So game days for me, it can be anything from just walking around meeting and greeting to hopping in a concession line to taking out trash. And so we're one of those staffs. Everybody chips in and participates, and we own our own concession company. So a lot of times I'm hopping in there, helping them to make sure people don't have to stand in line too long.
What is some of the traditions that Bowling Green has implemented?
Traditions. We don't have a whole lot of long-standing traditions. One of the things that was pretty early on is Cowbells. It kind of rode the wave of the Tampa Bay Rays being their affiliate, that some of our diehard season ticket holders love the Cowbells. Another one is Ric Flair woo. Every game you can get about 50 woos going, and then the crowd will occasionally spontaneously just bust out in woos without any cues on things that are going. But one of the cool things is when we introduce the team and we have home runs, we have 2 giant flames that would shoot out of a hot rod car on the scoreboard. So when we do hit home runs, we have flames that shoot up about 10 feet up in the air. It's pretty cool.
That's pretty amazing. Of course, what are some other game day traditions and things that are coming up in the future?
So one of the traditions that we started, and that's going to continue in the future, is in 2016, we had a promotion where we played as the Bowling Green Bootleggers. Just a fun thing being in Kentucky and bourbon and bootlegging. It was a tradition here. So we did that, and we ended up winning promotion of the year in minor league baseball for it. And now every Thursday we play as the Bowling Green Bootleggers on our Thirsty Thursday nights. So that's become a tradition. Pretty much every year we have specialty uniforms for the bootleggers, and that is something that's going to continue. And we really look forward to it, and we have a lot of fun with it.
How did the name Bowling Green Hot Rods come about, and what was the former name before the Hot Rods?
So the team was the Columbus Catfish, and was playing in Columbus, Georgia when it relocated here to Bowling Green. And of course, like a lot of places, they had the name the team contest. The fact that Corvettes are made here in Bowling Green, Hot Rods was one of the finalists, and along with Stingrays, but there were some issues there with corporate branding, and so Hot Rods ended up winning out. But the team name that finished in second was actually the Bowling Green Cave Shrimp. And in 2009, they actually ran a promotion, What Could Have Been Night, and they played as a cave shrimp. And people were like, what in the world is a cave shrimp? Well, there's a lot of caves. The U.S.'s largest underground cave system is about 45 minutes up the road here, and they're little iridescent cave shrimp that live in the cave. And so I'm kind of grateful that it didn't win, and that we're the Hot Rods.
Of course, what is it like being affiliated with Tampa Bay Rays?
It's incredible. And this is my 8th season here, and we've made the playoffs. Previously 7 seasons, we made the playoffs 6 out of 7 years. So we always have top talent. Clearly, right now, Wander Franco making his major league debut, the #1 prospect. He got to play here. So we consistently have very, very good teams. And hands down, the Rays are probably the best affiliate I've ever had an opportunity to work with. Not just because they provide us with quality players, but their front office is really great to work with. We try and do everything we can to take care of them, and it's vice versa. And so we have a great relationship with them, and that's why we've been with them since 2009, and even surviving the cuts of minor league baseball being trimmed down. Geographically, Bowling Green is a little bit away from our opponents, but we have such a good relationship with them that they wanted to stay here.
Of course, can you talk about the process of getting players from the Tampa Bay Rays to Bowling Green?
Yeah, I mean, as many people know, when you're affiliated, they just assign the players to us. They're the ones drafting them and signing them and scouting them. But being the fact that we are a little bit away from the other affiliates, in fact, today we had a roster change. The team headed out on the road. But typically the players, they'll fly out to Nashville or they'll drive in, and then we kind of take care of them. But we see about anywhere from 25 to 50 roster changes every single season. This year being a little bit of a shorter season, we might have less than that. But the Rays consistently have their top prospects stop off here in Bowling Green. And it was interesting during COVID, Brandon, Blake Snell was playing Twitch, and he would live stream a lot of his games and take questions from fans. And one of the questions was favorite minor league city that you played in. And he instantly said Bowling Green. And then he said, well, Durham and Bowling Green. But, so we have good rapport with our players. They love coming here, and that's a good thing.
Of course, are you a high A or a low A when it comes to affiliation?
You know what? We've been both. So we were low A for our entire existence until this year. And with the restructuring of minor league baseball, we moved from low A up to high A and are now in the high A East. And so we play teams from Georgia, North Carolina, South Carolina, all the way to New York and Maryland.
Who are some of the teams that you play?
So Rome Braves, Asheville Tourists, Hickory Crawdads, Greensboro Grasshoppers, Winston-Salem Dash, Greenville Drive. And then you go up to the Northern Division. You've got Aberdeen Ironbirds, Jersey Shore Blue Claws, and Brooklyn Cyclones, Hudson Valley Renegades, and Wilmington Blue Rocks. So it comprises the new High A East. And so for the first time in a long time, our fans are seeing new opponents coming in because we were in the old Midwest League. And so all new teams coming in here this year.
What is it like to have new opponents and travel to new locations?
I think it's fun. It's fun for our fans to see different teams coming in, and the guys, because we went from low A to high A, we actually had about 15 guys come back to Bowling Green, which is incredibly rare. But with the moving up a level, they're back here, and so they get to travel to new cities and see different places. So, but most of our fans, a lot of them miss some of the old opponents, but a lot of them are enjoying seeing some different teams come through.
Of course, as general manager, what are some of your future plans with Bowling Green?
I think one of the big things is all minor league teams have to meet some new facility standards. So we're working on that to expand the locker rooms, add hitting tunnels, and a lot of that. But for us, we're looking at some, fan enhancements and some new seating areas and restructuring a couple of those. Before 2019, we did a $2.5 million stadium renovation. And we're looking at doing some, more small things and always continuing to improve the stadium and then come up with the new promotions. I think that's the most exciting part about what we do and coming up with the theme nights. And, look, I've had plenty of good ones and I've had plenty of bad ones. And you kind of learn from the bad ones, and the good ones, you try and make those a tradition.
When it comes to fan interaction, what are some of the things that fans can enjoy at a Bowling Green game?
I obviously our mascots, promotions every single inning, and then we try and make it as fan friendly as possible as far as getting autographs. And with COVID, it's put some crimps in that, but traditionally every Sunday we have Signature Sunday where we allow fans out on the field and they get to be able to get the players' autographs and interact with them right there on the field. Can't do that this year, so instead we have players pre-sign posters and we hand those out to fans just to continue that engagement point. But I think a lot of it is the theme nights and promotions that we run out here.
What is something that you learn now that you didn't know before becoming a general manager of a minor league baseball team?
Probably that there are no off days. Coming off of a 6-game homestand in July 4th, and this is just an example of it. We shut the office to recognize July 4th yesterday, and I was enjoying a day off. I was actually going to play golf for a change, and the phone rang, and it was a local TV station, and they wanted to do a story, and I never want to turn down, but I'm like, I'm not in the office today. When's this going to air? And they're like, tonight. And they said, do you have 5 minutes? Can you pull the car over and just do a Zoom interview from your truck? And so that's what I did. And that there is no off time. Your phone will ring all the time, pretty much nonstop every day.
That's so amazing. What advice would you give somebody looking to work in professional sports?
That's a very good question. I think the biggest advice that I give people that are looking to get into professional sports is understand that there's no job that's bigger than you. And so that I even tell myself that you'll see me after every game picking trash up, from the seating bowl. And a lot of people think, well, I work in this and I have this title and I don't have to do that. So be willing to do everything, anything, and also have that inner drive. That's one thing I can teach people how to sell, but I can't teach people how to be self-motivated. You either have it or you don't. And I think that's one of the big things that separates the average from the great.
What advice would you give somebody looking to become a general manager?
Be a sponge. Get a mentor in the industry. I had some great mentors, Alan Stein, Kevin Culp, Marty Cordero, huge influences on my career. And those are the people who invested in me. And so just like I'm investing in the people who work for me, if you want to become a general manager, seek out counsel from existing general managers. And trust me, most people in our industry are very giving. They'll give you your time and energy, but you have to reach out to them. They're not going to reach out to you. So find a great mentor and allow them to invest in you, and be willing to hear the critiques as much as the praise. Because if all you get is praise, you're never learning what you need to fix.
That's great advice. Where can my listeners find you at on social media, along with, of course, the Bowling Green Hot Rods?
Yeah, Hot Rods, bghotrods.com. Of course, we have Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. Myself, I am on Facebook, Eric C. Leach. And then my Twitter is baseballbucket77. You can follow me on Twitter or Facebook. I don't have a personal Instagram, but the Hot Rods certainly do. And so I encourage you to follow them as well.
Thank you again, Eric Leach, for your interview, and best of luck in your future as the general manager for the Bowling Green's Hot Rods.
Thanks, Brandon. Take care.
You can find Brandon Sports Talk on Facebook at Brandon Sports Talk, Instagram at Brandon Sports Talk, Twitter at Talk_Brandon, and you can find me on YouTube at Brandon Sports Talk. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Thank you again, Eric Leach, for your interview, and best of luck.
All right. Take care.
You've been watching Brandon Sports Talk. Please feel free to like, share, and subscribe to Brandon Sports Talk on social media and on YouTube.